Hey, everybody. Merry Christmas to all. Is everybody tired of Christmas like I'm tired of Christmas? Whew, thank goodness it's over. It's over, guys. Presents have been opened. Kids have been satisfied and happy. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. So we have a subject today called domestic discipline. I guess it refers to consensual practices within a relationship where one partner disciplines the other. It's more commonly reported and practiced in certain religious communities within the United States among conservative Christian groups who interpret Bible teachings as supporting such practices. However, it's very important to understand that this is something that is not widely practiced. Domestic discipline. There's two tracks to domestic discipline, and one track is based on the Bible, and one track is just a sexual component, right? You hitting on your wife or your wife hitting on you, that's not domestic discipline. You can't put it down to being domestic discipline if you punch your wife in the face or she punch you in the face, right? And we have to understand, despite the discussion around it, domestic discipline is not a common practice in most societies. It is generally considered abusive when not consensual. Consent for something like this is very crucial. It has to be strictly based on mutual consent between partners in relationships. And there's legal concerns, because you can't just physically punish a person. I mean, that's called abuse, and you might get in trouble when you do such things. So most people don't practice it, right? I mean, it has to be said that this is some kind of power thing, right? It involves a power dynamic between two people, where one partner takes on the dominant role and the other partner takes on the submissive role. And that's not the same as that woman submitting. That's not the same thing. It's not pride. You can't discipline a person and try to get them to submit. That's not how that works. Okay. And there's different forms of this corporal punishment. It's different forms. Right? It's different forms of domestic discipline. There's spanking. Women spank men all the time. And most people don't think that's what it is, but that is what it is. Women sometimes do the spanking for the men. Okay? Sometimes it has that sexual component to it. And, some couples like that. It might be sexually arousing. Sometimes they have a safe word. But it always has to be consensual, this domestic discipline, if it has a sexual component, right? It's not inherently sexual. Not all domestic discipline is sexually motivated. Some couples may engage in it as a way to establish power dynamics or enforce boundaries that they might have in a relationship, and it involves a sexual component. I mean, a lot of it has to do with something called erotic spanking, right? Erotic spanking. When the physical discipline is done specifically for sexual arousal, it is often referred to as erotic spanking. And it's considered a distinct practice within the broader category of domestic discipline, right? Or sexual component. I forgot what it's called. BSMD. I can't even say the word. I can't even figure it out, right? But mostly it has been found to be practiced in Christian households here in the United States. People think it's like a Muslim thing, right? But it's not necessarily a Muslim thing. Most of the time it is found within a biblical context or a biblical household, rooted in specific interpretations of biblical teachings of authority, submission, marital roles, right? It's important to note that this is controversial and a very debated topic, even within the different Christian households and religions. Okay. And not all Christian households practice or endorse this domestic discipline. But there's reasons why. I guess they do it in a Christian context. Some Christians interpret Bible verses such as, I wrote this down. Ephesians, is it called Ephesians? Right? 5:22 to 24. Wives, submit yourself to your own husbands. Wow. As you do to the Lord. And Proverbs 13:24. Whoever spares a rod hates their children, but the one who loves their children is careful to discipline them. But I see the word discipline, I see the word child in there, so I would immediately dismiss that, right? I guess it's because that's how they endorse the hierarchy structure within the home. They view the husband as the leader or head of the household. See, this is really why women have a problem with this leading the household, because some people don't know how to interpret certain things out of the Bible. They don't know how to interpret those phrases, those particular verses. I'm sorry, verses. So therefore, women, they back up off of it. BDSM man with baby oil. Shut up. Hey, Diddy had a lot of that baby oil, right? I understand that. They view the husband as leader of the house, responsible for guiding and disciplining his wife and the family in a loving, moral, and spiritual way. And sometimes people don't understand how to do it in a loving, moral, and a spiritual way. It becomes abuse. There's a thin line. I guess there may be a thin line between domestic discipline and abuse. But domestic abuse is supposed to have a clear structure. It's supposed to deal with accountability, right? And it's supposed to strengthen the marital bonds, and it addresses conflicts or issues directly. They believe this dynamic helps maintain harmony and resolves disputes. But you have to remember, this has to be consensual. It has to be consensual. Okay? Practical application. In this framework, domestic discipline is sometimes seen as a practical application of the husband's role as the leader and the wife's role as a supporter. Okay? Sometimes they frame it as a personal and spiritual growth, which promotes virtues like humility, patience, self-discipline. I'm telling you, this is a part of the domestic. This is not a widely held practice. This is never a widely held practice for people to do this kind of thing. Okay? So women have a problem. There's criticisms because it is domestic discipline. People argue that it leads to abusive behaviors. Right? Let me write it down. Let me listen. Undermines the dignity and autonomy of their partner. Modern views of equality are being blurred. Many Christians emphasize mutual submission. Mutual submission is called Ephesians 5:21. 5:21, and rejects hierarchy marital dynamics, viewing them as inconsistent with broader biblical teachings of love and respect. They also warn of emotional harm, stress, loss of individualities with such relationships. But a lot of Christians practice this. I guess it may be a specific dynamic of Christians who practice this as a part of their faith and marital philosophy. I guess it may be a very controversial issue, right? The sexual component, however, ain't no doubt about the sexual component. And consensual adult sexual relationships, discipline might have a sexual component, such as BDSM. Somebody said BDSM. Bondage, discipline, dominance, submission, sadism, masochism, whatever. Might involve role play, power dynamics, agreed upon rules, consequences, often mutual enjoyment, and emotional connection. But all of these things, both the Christian practice of it and the sexual component of it, has to be consensual. And it has nothing, and it's an antiquated practice, but people think because women are free to do what they want to do on this planet, that maybe we should bring domestic discipline back. I've never met a person who practiced domestic discipline. But if it's in the component of those two, sexual and the Christian way in which they practice it, maybe that's what you maybe that's something that you understand or you know. Does anybody know anything about it? Because I don't know anything about it other than those two components of it. I've read a lot about men being spanked. Wait a minute, where did I write that? Punishments. Spanking, doing chores, rinsing your mouth out with soap, writing lines. You know how we used to write lines when we were kids? I will not I will not pour paint on the floor. I will not pour paint on the floor. I will not pour paint on the floor. Doing that 1,000 times. Getting timed out. But it doesn't have anything to do with cutting off sexual relations in a marriage. That's something to do with the sexual component of it. I mean, maybe some of us have been a part of the sexual component or who have had the sexual component, right? Where we got spanked, where you got a belt put on your tail. But those have been one or two instances. That's not a domestic discipline situation, but they happen. People do this in their homes under a sexual component all the time. Maybe it's arousing. I know getting punched in the face. I know you sticking your wood inside me and then punching me in the face ain't no turn on. I know that's not. Some people do that though. Some people do that. And that's a component. That's a turn on for them. Okay. We got some weird people going on. I was reading about some men. Whenever he wanted to please his wife, he would do cleaning. He would clean, have the house clean. If it wasn't cleaned how she wanted, he got a spanking. But maybe that turned him on. I don't know. Hey, I ain't knocking nobody's sexual thing. I ain't knocking nobody's sexual thing. But if that's a sexual thing for you, let it be a sexual thing for you. And don't criticize somebody else for it. When we cross the line from domestic discipline to abuse, when it's no consent, when no one has consent, when it comes out of the blue, when it comes upon you and you're in the relationship and you don't know that this person practices this. This must be a question that we have to ask ourselves before we get into a relationship. Some people believe in that domestic abuse or domestic discipline. How many people believe in domestic discipline? Do you tell your partner ahead of time that you like to be spanked? I don't know. I ain't never really been faced with getting paddled. I mean, just the sight of it would make me feel some type of way. I mean, if I was on a date and somebody said, "Hey, I believe in domestic discipline. I believe in spanking if you let me spanking, but if you said it in a sexual way or something like that, I mean, I might be open to that. I might be open to that, but I've never been faced with that. So I don't really know how I would probably act. Okay. Men, on the other hand, think it but see, if a man gets hit by a belt or if a man gets spanked, does that mean he submits to the woman? Or you get hot wax poured on you, like Ty said? Does that mean face slaps? Damn. Face slap? Who? I mean, how does that even equate to being sexually turned on if you get smacked in the face? I'm always a dom. He said, I'm always a dom. Come on up and explain what you mean by dom, because I'm curious now. I'm curious about this domestic discipline. I don't want to get slapped in the face. Who wants to get slapped in the face? Who? The bottom? You got to have a paddle. There's a specific paddle. You got to slap her while she blowing you. Shut your damn mouth, Ty. How do you slap somebody and they blowing you? How does that happen? How is that a turn on for you if you slap her while she blowing? I'm curious. I really wish you would come on a panel and explain. You don't have to be on camera. You know that. Explain how that even becomes a thing. Because that is a donkey punch. What's a donkey punch? Y'all wild out here. A donkey punch. Black America, you giving donkey punch? What does that mean? To the jaw like bam? Or does that mean to the ass like bam? Or does that mean like to the chest? What does that mean? And is that considered domestic discipline? But are you doing the sexual component? Oh, okay. So y'all talking about the sexual component. You're not talking about back of the head. A donkey punch to the back of the head. But she wouldn't see it coming. So how is that discipline? Wait a minute. Wait, y'all trying to be funny. Ain't nobody punching nobody in the back of the head for domestic discipline. That's punishment. That's just abuse. He's talking about the sexual component of it. Foot on the back of the neck. Back of the head. You punch her in the back of the head? Are you serious? Y'all wild. Y'all wild. Really? I'm old enough. I ain't old enough. He just said doggy style and then back of the head. Like pot out. Like straight up out of the blue. Do you have a safe word for doing that kind of stuff? This is a wild conversation. Wait a minute. Hold up. I thought it was more of washing your mouth out with soap or spanking with a paddle. Get a specially made paddle or get a special made whip or get a special made. Oh, see, now y'all make me ill. Jay, you're making me ill. Choking. But is that BDSM or is that domestic discipline? I know that ain't no domestic discipline. This is hood. I love it. He said, this is hood BDSM. Y'all crazy. Hood BDSM. Y'all wild. Don't nobody practice that shit. Ain't you afraid that if you practice this domestic discipline stuff, that something bad would happen if you practiced it without the context of or the confinedness of the permission and the limitations and the y'all have safe words, because this kind of discipline, this kind of domestic discipline, but this is domestic discipline. This is now you wild, Ty, you wild. Ain't nobody who the hell going into the bedroom with you and you doing shit like this? Who the hell going in the bedroom and you doing shit like this? I ain't having this conversation. We ain't having this conversation. We not having. It's domestic. You correct, Jay. It's domestic abuse if it's not consensual. But wait a minute, hold on. Why would I agree? Why would a partner agree to deal with domestic discipline? Why would a partner agree to that? Okay. What kind of person agrees to discipline? What kind of person agrees to discipline? Is domestic discipline a part of totally? Wait a minute. Do we need to ask you? Do you practice it before they get into a relationship? Do you ask the person if they practice it? Okay. Do you ask her? Because it has to be consensual. Okay. That's the whole thing. If it's considered it's considered domestic discipline. If it's not consensual, then it's not domestic discipline. It's considered abuse. Right? Typro tripping. You tripping. But this is the thing. This is not only a woman thing. This is a man thing. I've read men who have who do domestic discipline. Women who do discipline to their husbands. He got to masturbate in panties. He gets spanking. He does chores. There's timeout. I don't know whether it's sexual timeout or timeout as in timeout in the relationship. She gets to have relationship timeout or he gets to have relationship time. What do you mean by timeout? How does that work? Do we have people who practice this in any way, shape, or form? Okay. I want to know, how is it practiced? Is it something that we need to adopt in the Black community? Is it something we could adopt in the Black community? Is it too far out for us to adopt in the Black community? Forced orgasms too. What in the hell is going on? When I'm done, ain't no man doing that. Those are sub and dom relationships. Sub and dom okay. That's what I'm saying. This is primarily where domestic abuse or this kind of abuse occurs in a sexual component, is the sub and dom relationship. Christians practice this because a part of something they believe in, a religious context. Okay, most people don't. They have found that it's practiced primarily within the Christian religion, and it's a strict doctrine that they have. I'm assuming, I'm gonna have the assumption that those Amish people may be close to practicing that. I don't know. I'm not gonna say. But they are Christian families. So are Amish people Christian? Is that the religion that they practice from the Bible? And if so, do you think they practice that? Maybe they're the ones who practice that. But it's a very narrow subset of the Christians that do that. And it's sometimes people get beat 50, 100 times on the ass. Oh, okay. This isn't a real regular relationship. It's a pay for play. Oh, shit. Oh, well. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Hold up. You donkey punching pros? Black America? What? Wait, you donkey punching them? Because you the one brought up donkey punch. You donkey punching pros? Forced orgasm. You tie her up and make her come hard, or tie her up and make her come but tell her to hold it. Ain't no fucking way. Ain't no way. Yeah, that's a part of the BDS. Yeah, not me. Wait a minute. Your boy is telling you this? Your boy is somebody has told you that pros do this. Well, I mean, if you pay somebody, I guess if it's enough money, they paying chicks to come over there to Abu Dhabi, and Dubai. So they paying chicks to go over there and get pissed on. So I'm assuming there got to be some chicks who don't like getting donkey punched for $10,000. I really ain't up to par with what donkey punching means. But if you gonna donkey punch a chick, I can't even. No. Anything that involves pain, anything that involves. See, I'm quick to anger. I'm quick to anger when it comes to physical abuse. You know what I'm saying? I'm quick to anger when it comes to physical abuse. So being quick to anger for physical abuse, I don't think that would be for me. My point exactly, Ty. I ain't doing it for free. If you're gonna pay me, if you're gonna do it, I got to get paid for it, and it's got to be worth the humiliation of it. If you're gonna paddle me, I got to get paid for it. It's got to be well worth the humiliation. It ain't for free. I ain't loving you. How does that happen? I mean, what's the question? Why would a partner agree to domestic discipline and they ain't never been, unless they have been in a domestic discipline relationship and they understand all the ins and outs and they like that hitting thing. They like that spanking thing. See, because inherently this says when you do domestic discipline that somebody has messed up in some way, and then you have the authority to correct them. And it's not a man-woman thing. It's not a man correcting a woman thing. I've read plenty of men get corrected by the women. So that's not it. So it's not a man doing it to his wife. Men get corrected all the time too. This is like a humiliation fetish on a 10th degree somewhere. Some people like to get humiliated like that. I've heard of people getting thrown up on. This is wild. I've heard of people getting thrown up on. Please hit the like button, guys. Just hit the like button. We just doing the likes today. Please hit the like button. We can do the like button. Okay. And this ain't gonna be that long. It's only gonna be an hour. I only took it because I would have been bored and I wouldn't have been doing anything. Whoa. G Honda. Yes. Masturbating in the wife's panties. I only really came on here to say Merry Christmas to y'all because my SBC family. And I got bored and I didn't have nothing to do. And I was done with Christmas, handing out presents, giving away all kinds of shit. And I was like, I'm just ready to be on the thing. Shh. I thought about coming to Vegas. I thought about going to Vegas. I thought about it. No, because this ain't a long show. This only gonna be till 7 o'clock. I just want everybody to give us a like. Okay, and then come out with a crazy ass topic, right? So my question is this: anybody come on the panel? Let's talk about it. Tell me about this. Tell me about this donkey punch in the back of the head. Pros actually pay for this. I know they go to Dubai and they do all kinds of shit like this. This is where they get them really kinky fetishes. People going over there pissing in a bottle. Let me drink your pee. Let me drink your stuff. Let me punch you in the head. Let me beat you up. Let me do all this kind of stuff. Okay, they do that, but I think the Christian, I don't play that shit neither. But the Christian people, they be paddling. They be doing the timeouts, the spanking, the chores, masturbating in no. It's Jihan. It's not a matter of just masturbating in the wise panties. It's making him wear the wise panties and making him masturbate in the wise panties. It ain't just wise panties. It just ain't masturbate and then putting it in his mouth. I heard of that. That's wild. That's wild. You know what I'm saying? So it's a humiliation factor too. Don't you think it's a humiliation factor? Isn't that a part of it? Where you're because it's like somebody treating you like a child almost. If it's not a part of the sexual component. The sexual component is a different thing. The Christian component, the domestic discipline practice Christians wise, that's a different thing. That's the humiliation kink. Okay. And some of people have that. Some people get into that BDSM thing. They get into it because they have that kink. I actually saw on camera when I was younger somebody who liked to get thrown up on. I almost lost it for real. They had a throw up fetish. And this is a part of that domestic discipline. It was a white husband and a wife, and he would do it to her. Oh, he would do it to her. She would do it to him. I mean, but there's creative way making somebody wear clamps on their nipples all day as a form of punishment. Clamp on their lips down there. A clamp on their lip or a buzz on their lips down there is discipline. Or you would have what do you mean? How is that domestic discipline? It's a form of corporal punishment. It's a form. Domestic discipline is a form of punishment. Domestic discipline, which refers to consensual practices within a relationship where one partner disciplines the other. That is domestic discipline. Puking on one. Oh yeah, puking on one. Because now wouldn't that make you throw up? Wouldn't that make you ill? Wouldn't that be a punishment if somebody was throwing up on you? That's what I'm saying. It's a form of punishment. That's their way of doing it. I know that's their way of doing it, but it's consensual though. It has to be based on consensual, mutual consent between partners in that relationship. Okay. These people, you have no idea. There used to be a show on Showtime, or long ago when cable first came out. It used to be a show about loving and sexual partners. And this was a part of that loving and sexual partner component where they would show unusual love stories. They would show unusual practices, sexual practices. And it would be clamps on the nipples, clamps down there, clamps for him. There's a ring that can go around the ring and go around the wood. Getting thrown up on, flogged, all kinds of domestic discipline in the sexual realm. Most of the household, most of the Christian discipline is spanking, chores, soap, getting your mouth rinsed out with soap, writing lines, timeout, that kind of thing happens over there. Over here in the sexual component of domestic discipline. What? They go to Home Depot for toys? Wow. Wait, what? At Home Depot? What? I'm saying you get the rings. Man, I think it's 2 stores in my neighborhood. No, 2 sex stores in my neighborhood. No, kinks. You think clamps don't hurt? You think nipple clamps don't hurt? Nipple clamps hurt. That's the whole point. You can tighten those up. That's what I'm saying. This is domestic. People think domestic discipline means whooping somebody's ass to correct them. That's not how domestic discipline works. There's two components primarily. The one in which the Christian groups normally practice, which and some people practice, some regular people practice, but it's not a common thing for people to practice domestic discipline. Okay, but there's a bunch of conservative Christian groups who interpret biblical teachings that support these practices, and they practice this kind of thing. The other part of it is the sexual component of the BDSM part of it. Okay, and then spousal discipline, it has to be approved. It has to be consensual. It's not widely practiced. It's not a common practice in most societies because it's considered abuse. But depending on the form, if it's mutual consent, you can avoid the legal concerns of it if it's mutual consent. Okay. Spanking, paddling, wearing clamps down there, rings around the wood, paddling for him. I couldn't even imagine all of the sexual components that people could get up to if it was a part of the sexual component of domestic discipline. But these things, you have to understand, most of these things people want to happen within relationships. They don't want this to happen outside of relationship. I'm not having a sexual encounter with a person I just met and we finna do all this BDSM stuff. Most of this concerns submissive or submission. You have to have a level of submission to this particular practice in order to do it. You can't just walk into it and say, oh, okay, I'm gonna do it. You have to have that air of submission too. Because you have to trust somebody for them to put a booty ring in. Okay? You have to trust somebody to put a booty ring in. You have to trust somebody to paddle you. You have to trust somebody to put clamps on you. These are levels of trust that you just don't walk into. Okay, so therefore, people are not doing this. That's why it's normally a relationship these people have together that allow them to do these things because submission is a part of that. Merry Christmas, everybody! Sugar Bomb, Project Leroy J, Ty, Honda, Rose, Black, Trey. This is a quick show. This is a 6 to 7 show where we just talking about Kiki. We talking about the Kiki parts of domestic discipline and the religious parts of domestic discipline. Yes, people think we get caught up on the sexual component of it. But there's a sexual component and a Christian component, domestic discipline component where people get spankings, they get timed out, soap in the mouth, writing lines, those kind of things. That's a part of domestic discipline. Domestic discipline, and it has to be consensual, and you have to avoid abuse and legal concerns. We're not talking about the one in which you just whoop your wife's ass, or she whoops your ass, or she puts her hands on you. We're talking about the one where you get slapped. You like to get slapped. You like to get spanked, or you like to do chores. All the chores in the house. I need the whole house clean, top and bottom. Bam. Soap rinsed out in your mouth. I said it's two different things. I read about it. It's two different things. There's a sexual component, and then there's the religious component. I get all of that. Okay, I get the two different things. I've read about it. There's two different things. Okay. Yes, we are talking about the BDSM stuff. We're not talking about the religious part of it. Religious part is the plain vanilla punishments. These are the sexual this is the sexual component of the BDSM stuff, of the domestic discipline stuff. When Christians practice it, it's more of paddling, doing chores, writing lines, soap, mouth soap, washing the mouth out with soap, those kind of things. The other ones is this, what we have been talking about. Okay. Yes, there's two different avenues in which people can go. There's two. The BDSM is the kinky stuff. Yes, that's primarily what we've been talking about. Most people don't practice the other portion unless you're in school, unless you're in a very Christian and strict household. There's households that practice it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's not a widely held practice because it's considered abuse in some states. But most states, but it's very religious communities here in the United States that practice it. Domestic discipline. Okay. Okay. That's domestic where it's no sexual component to it. That's correction. But that's also mutual respect. Okay. It has to be. It has to be consensual. It's not widely practiced. Domestic discipline is not widely practiced because it's considered a form of abuse in regular relationships. When it's on the other hand, and that's the one we're talking about, where you use butt plugs, dick rings, all of those things, that's a part of the BDSM. That's where the kinky stuff lies. Okay? That's where most people fall into the kinky discipline. Very few fall into this domestic discipline over here with in this small frame of the in which some religious communities in the United States are practicing. Okay, so I know the difference between the two. Okay, consent is the staple of it. It has to be consensual, and it has to have submission in it. That's why I don't think any person outside of a relationship can really practice this domestic discipline correctly if they don't have a relationship with the person, unless you're paying for it. Well, Black Americans say people pay for that shit. People pay to get donkey punched. I really want to know what donkey punch means. I grew up, this is something I didn't tell y'all. I grew up in, I only went to Catholic schools. Okay. I only went to Catholic schools. So if people who don't know what Catholic schools did, Catholic schools, I wore uniform every day. This is all my life. St. Mary Sacred Heart and St. Francis Academy, all Catholic schools, all my life since I was a kid, since I was 5, right? Uniforms, and the nuns, and I only was taught by nuns. Wraps on the knuckles and paddles, right? But see, I was such a good kid, I never got paddled. I never got knuckles wrapped, right? Okay. So that's my whole thing. My whole thing is you have to know you have to know the difference, but a lot of people don't know the difference. And they cross over into this physical abuse. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button. That's all we asking for is likes today. We doing the like thing. We ain't worried about no money. We worried about the like thing. Please hit the like thing. The like button, please. I would love it. Please. Like and shares if you can. So I'm saying that's the difference. Catholic is certain religious communities that practice this. Okay. Women who have gotten bent over, their husband has a paddle. I don't understand it. What person actually wants to be spanked in that way? Because when you say discipline to me, that means you're trying to, I don't want to see nobody get beat. I'm a person that I don't like violence. Violence, puts me on edge. When I see violence on the screen and I see violence in people, it makes me extremely sick or nervous. So I don't like to, I don't like to see that and watch that. I'm a cower when I see that kind of stuff. So please don't send me videos like that. I don't I don't like getting slapped in the face. I don't see. I feel like this. Some people don't know how to stop. Some people don't know where the line is crossed. You know what I'm saying? I don't. Some people don't know when the line is crossed, and you forget that this is consensual. You forget that it's supposed to be correction. You forget that this is supposed to be discipline, teaching someone a lesson, not abusing a person. And some people don't know the lines. The lines get cross, 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 right? And so women, I feel like is always a problem with the women of modern women these days. They feel as though this could be this could be letting the man in to do abuses, and he don't need to do abuses. When you feel like you're an adult, when I feel like I'm an adult, I don't want to be corrected. You can talk to me. You ain't got to put your hands on me trying to correct me. That's the way I look at it. You ain't got to put your hands on me to correct me. Yeah, I get it. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it could be sexy. It could be sensual. It could be very mutually satisfying if it's done in the right way. But if it's done because you're trying to discipline someone, then I think that's the wrong way to go. If you're doing it to turn somebody on or it turns you on, oh, hell yeah, do it. If you in the bedroom and you got flogs, if it's called a flog, you know what I'm talking about, Black America. You know what the hell I said. I told you it's 2 tracks. 2 tracks. I don't know. You get lost in the sauce when I get to talking about the sexual thing. We're on the sexual thing. We're not on the other thing. No, nobody has practiced the other thing. I'm saying people get mixed up with those 2 things. Flog. Oh, you know them things that you do to flog. I think it's flaggers. But I'm saying there's 2 different types. I explained it 3, 4, 5 different times, Black America. Two directions you can go: the sexual direction and the conservative direction. We're not talking about the conservative direction. We're talking about the sexual direction. The sexual direction is considered domestic discipline too. They're both considered that. When there's a punishment related to it, it's both considered domestic discipline. Both of them are. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Okay. It's a fetish. Okay. Consensual relations, discipline. It has a sexual component, part of the BDS often. It's an emotional connection or a physical connection, however you want to pour baby oil on her, take her clothes off. She's nude and you paddle her. Or he's nude and you paddle her. Okay. Cat of 9 tails. These are specific things related to that BDSM. But it's considered a part of discipline. Okay. That's what it's considered, a part of discipline. The religious thing, yeah, that's a Catholic thing too. I mean, I get that, but it's not practiced as much as this BDSM thing is. It's not practiced as much outside of that community. Okay, my understanding is I read somewhere that it's practiced primarily in Catholic households, mostly here in the United States, but in a small subset of the Catholic. It's not all Catholics, not a lot of Catholics. It's just a small portion that practices and it strictly adheres to something in the Bible. I don't know what, Ephesians 5:22, something to that effect, right? So not a lot of people practice it, but they practice paddling. They practice certain things, right? I'm not saying this is exclusive to the sexual part. I'm not saying this is exclusive to the religious part. I'm saying there are two different ways in which people do it. Some people do it just to have fun. Other people do it for a form of straight punishment. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I get the difference of the two. I get that completely, right? I wouldn't want to be, I would, it would just, I don't know. The sexual thing, I would love the sexual thing, but who can stop at the sexual thing, right? Once you go this far and it's okay to do this, then it's even more stuff down the road. Look, you ain't got to make me withhold no orgasm. I know how to go over the cliff. I go over the cliff plenty. I go over the cliff plenty. I don't need no help. I want help. There's wanting help and not needing. I don't need no help. So, spanking me, you don't need to spank me in order for me to go over the cliff. That's all you got to do is be a sexually active partner, an interested partner, and then, hey. But I mean, I get, man, you know what? I thought about opening up a sex club, but I don't know whether it's legal where I live. I would love to do that, open up a club, but I don't know whether it's legal. Anyway. This is where we are with the sexual discipline or the domestic discipline. We know two components, guys. Two. Catholic men and women practice it. Men can be spanked. It has nothing to do with who's the leader or who's not. You walk into the room with a partner and you say, hey, partner, and you getting to know the person and blah, blah, blah. Once you started a sexual relationship. Okay. Let young man slut you out one time. He be squirting this shit in my eye. I ain't doing that. But there's two parts of it, right? Catholic part, not the Catholic part. I keep saying Catholic part. I don't mean that. What I mean is it's a biblical component to it, religious component to it, where it's strictly.
Call from
Michael.
To accept, press 1.
Hey, Michael. Hello.
Hey, yo, what's up? Hello.
Hello.
Are we on live?
Subject. Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yes.
Are we on air?
Yes, we are on air. What do you have to say about the subject?
What I want to say is that
I am a black nigga because I can't read or write.
And you're just so fucking black.
You see that wildness that somebody come up here and say something dumb? I'm so fucking black. I get that you're black. You sound black. You sound dumb too. But the whole point is we as a society have to figure out that if you're going to practice this, you have to be real careful how you practice this domestic discipline. I remember because this subject stood in my head when a person came on a panel and started asking about domestic discipline, which told me that he didn't understand what the differences were. Okay. The differences between the sexual component and the what did they call you? Why you call me? You just throw some. And I got to answer. Let's see.
Call from
Tyrone.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Tyrone?
Yeah, hi, this is Tyrone. I'm gonna come and fuck you in there.
Second troll, before he got it out of his mouth. These motherfuckers don't have nothing to do except Christmas and troll. We over here at the SBC having a good time. Don't call here if you ain't a part of the group playing. You can call here, but don't come calling, playing some garbage. Okay, that ain't what we doing. Weirdos on Christmas. Look, for some reason, for the past 3 weeks, I have been getting these weird phone calls. See, now I'm hesitant to do.
Call from
I am a black nigga.
And these are different numbers. That's the weird shit. These are different numbers. I have been getting these weirdo calls for the past 3 weeks. Weirdo calls from Messenger, from Facebook, from everywhere, from every little platform. I was like, what the hell happened? It's just like I exploded on. Why are you calling me? I ain't, look, I'm old as hell. Don't be calling no old lady talking crazy. Don't call no old lady talking crazy. Oh no, I'm going to continue to make phone calls. I'm going to continue to get phone calls, but these people are wild. Okay? These people are wild. And the whole point is you cannot, well, you know what? I'm going to figure out, can I figure out who it is before they I get on the phone? You know what I'm saying? Before I put him on live. Because there's no way to okay?
call from. To accept, press 1.
I'm not accepting. I dropped the link. That's wild. I'm like, look, we over here having a discussion. Don't do no weirdo shit. Most men in the chat are hypocrites. Why are they hypocrites, Sugar Bum? What's going on? Hey, Black America, what's going on?
Good. What is it? Afternoon. Good afternoon. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I done forgot what the hell was going on.
Huh?
Like I done been drinking. Good afternoon. Merry Christmas. What's happening?
What's happening?
All right. So what I want to tell you first and foremost is, like, whatever's going on with that particular person, you're gonna have to be careful of like who you let up on like stream, like on your platform.
Yeah, before that's why I'm going to find out whether you can stop when you have a chat, when you have the person on the phone. Can you see? I'm not answering the phone. I'm not answering the phone now because you already tainted.
I mean,
because I don't know whether they.
Right, and then I mean, I'm like people like that just makes it bad for your platform, for all of us that are actually, hoping you do well and looking to see you do good things and big things.
I get these phone calls all the time. You're right. Even when I'm not online, even when I'm not like this. And it's like, why are you calling me? Like the other day I got a dick pic. Really? And he couldn't have been no more than 30 years old. I was like, for real, that's what we doing now. That's what we doing now. All right? I'm not answering the phone. Okay. Yeah. So
yeah.
what do
So
you have to
people
say about this subject? You was telling me, huh?
Okay. So what I want to say is,
Well,
so I understand what you're talking about, right? Domestic discipline is not kinky shit. Kinky shit, BDSM, that's not domestic discipline. They may consider it domestic discipline in some circles or realms, but that's not what it is, right?
What is it called?
It's just kinky. It's just kinky shit. It's just shit you get a wine bottle and stick it up your girl ass. That's just kinky shit. It's not domestic discipline.
No, I'm the paddling and the flogging type thing is more discipline.
Yeah, that's all just freaky stuff. It's not domestic discipline. See,
the domestic discipline. The domestic discipline, I only brought it up because there was a gentleman on the panel who who had was talking about domestic discipline. He had all of that. He had all of that in together, doing BDSM, and he was talking about domestic discipline as in paddling. But I had never really explored it or thought about it. I didn't even know that was a thing, really, until I heard a person say it on the panel. And you say they're the only thing that overlaps is the paddling and the flogging and that kind of thing.
No. So this is domestic discipline, right? So one day, let me explain to you the difference. So one day, my wife and my mother and my mother-in-law, they were all going shopping. And she was like, "Hey, baby, I need some money." I said, "Well, take some money that's on the dresser." I'm in the bathroom. She was in the bedroom. So when I came out of the bathroom, I seen the whole stack of money gone, right? Like it was a whole stack of money gone. So I was like, "Yo, like you took all the money. Like you don't have to take all the money." So she was like, "Well, I need some money." So I said, "I dig that, but you took a whole stack of money." So then she started with the disrespect. "Fuck you, nigga. I do what I want, bitch ass nigga, this, that, and the other." So I grabbed her by her arm after I warned her copious amounts of times. "Hey, baby, we married. You're not supposed to talk to me like that. I am your husband. I don't call you out your name. You're going to respect me like I respect you." But she's thinking because of our mothers are there. Both of our mothers are there now. "Fuck you, nigga. I do what I want," and this, that, and the other. I grabbed one of her wrists like she was 5 years old, and I whooped on her ass a couple of good times. And then I let her go, and she, went through the whole emotions of "I'll shoot you, I'll kill you," and all of that stuff. And that's domestic discipline. But she never did that particular thing again. Right? So that's domestic discipline. All the rest of the stuff, if we having sex and I'm spanking you and stuff like that, that's not domestic discipline. That's just, like I say, that's just freaky stuff.
Yeah, but is this a mutual thing is this a mutual thing between you and your wife? That's it, with you giving whoopings, or is this something that you impulsively did?
Oh, no, it's something that I did. It's not something I impulsively did. It's something that she made me. I'm not finna let nobody call me a bitch ass nigga, and then let alone my wife. So yeah, she had to see what bitch ass niggas do. And then after she seen that, all of that calmed down, and it was no more of that. But other than that, that's what, since now we're married, she feel like you can't do nothing to me. Like, no, motherfucker, I run this shit. Now, if you want to stay on this shit, then you can. If not, we can go ahead and end this whole trip right now. But like I said, all of that other stuff, that's just sex. The donkey punch and all these are things that I heard. But like I said, I am from Vegas.
Wait a minute, hold on. You the one said donkey punch. Donkey punch.
Yeah.
What is donkey punch, and what does that mean?
So one of the homeboys, oh God. So if you hitting a girl doggy style, and right when she finna come or you about to come, you punch her in the back of the head. That's what I was told. Okay? That's what I was told. That's not something that I do. I'm not into that. But I did have women who actually were in the nightlife and got paid for sexual experiences. And they would tell me all type of things that men would want them to do to them. And that's just freaky shit. That's just, pegging.
I understand the freaky thing. I understand the freaky thing and the paddling thing. When you get paddled, but see, wouldn't that be a part of discipline if that's something? That's why you have a safe word. a safe word, so you won't go too far in that particular relationship. So you won't go too far in something like that. Ain't that why that is?
No, I don't even think that's why that is. That's it. Like I said, that's with, but that's not considered that though. You know what I mean?
Mm,
That's just once again, that's just considered under the gaze of kinks. That's all that's
mm,
considered.
that's
That's
right.
considered under the gaze of kinks. It's not it's not considered uh discipline. Actual true discipline. It's not considered that.
These people, somebody has went nuts on this phone. I have got, since I've been talking to you, I have gotten 30 voicemail. No way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. But anyway,
Well,
thank you for coming up, Black America. I thank you for coming up. I was only going to do an hour show. I only wanted the likes. If you
okay.
guys gave me some likes, and we just had a weird conversation on Christmas time, on Christmas Day, because I was bored and I ain't had nothing to do after I gave out the presents and I came home. This is all we had to do.
Hmm.
This is all I had to do. But I just wanted a weird topic that we is. But the next topic, what's the next topic? I ain't even figured out what my next topic is on Friday. It's gonna be something wild because it's Friday. I don't know, maybe open panel. I don't know about Joe. What's his name? Fat Joe. It might be something to do with that. I don't know. But that
Yeah,
seems to be a
that's
hot topic. I don't understand that. I don't understand that FB. I don't understand how New York people gave him a pass and now he don't have no pass.
well,
Say what he was saying.
uh, well, the I what I think is it's a difference between East Coast and West Coast dudes. It's especially far as rap, right? And the East Coast dudes see rap quite differently. Like I don't even listen to East Coast rap. So East Coast people see rap quite differently. And
Mm.
it's yeah, that's what they do. That's how they get out.
So I'm
That's how
saying
they get down out there.
The New York people gave Fat Joe a pass.
No, it's part of that. It's part of the music culture.
No,
It's
that's what
part
I'm
of their
saying.
music
He
culture.
was good. Why ain't he good now? That's the question. Why ain't he good now? That's
Well,
a question we
be
gonna have. That's a question we're
because
gonna answer on Friday. Let's do
yeah,
the
well,
Fat Joe controversy on Friday. Okay.
okay, all right.
Do
Well,
you
that sounds
understand?
good.
I have got a million. This person keeps calling from several numbers, different numbers at one time, and they keep calling me. Google Voice, Google
Yeah,
Voice.
he
I think
must have right. Yeah, and
yeah,
so Google Voice aren't real numbers, right? So
right.
so anybody can go to Google Voice and pick up a number. So those aren't real telephone numbers. Those are just
Oh,
numbers that you hook on. They're like demon dialers. So you just hook
oh,
that number on and you can call from different numbers so you can stay anonymous.
okay. So I got to
You know
turn
what I
this
mean?
off. This person lost their damn mind.
Yeah,
Whoever did this
I
lost their
yeah,
damn mind.
right. I think that for your safety, right? You just for those of us that's been up and that came up and that us, but anybody else that wants to come up, um, you're gonna have to be real cautious and have it on a delay or hold them in the background so you can see
Yeah.
their voice or something. Talk to the other guys about it and and refer to them, because they could have a
Right.
little bit better judgment on it and then just
Yeah.
probably go from
Yeah.
there. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Merry
I got
Christmas to you. I'll talk to
74.
you later.
I got
Okay.
74 voice. 74. They done called 74 times. No. Okay. All right. Thank
Yeah,
you all.
just from different numbers.
This is just a pop-up show. And that's it. And we might talk about the Fat Joe thing on Friday. Let's get into it. I'm blaming the New York people because that's y'all boy. I'm blaming the New York people because that's your boy. So we might get into it on Friday and the FBAs and all that good stuff. I don't know. I had to read about it a little bit more because I ain't this is wild. This person called me from 75 different. I got voicemail after voicemail, 75 voicemail since I've been on this phone, since I've been on this live. This is crazy. I thank y'all all for showing up. Friday, we're going to have our regular show. Look for the title of the show. I don't know. It may be a couple titles all mixed in. Thank you all for coming. Thank you. That's all I wanted was likes. Give me the likes. Give me the likes, guys. Give me the likes. I appreciate the likes. And I will see y'all on Friday.